I've dragged home this time is a 1970 Cardinal Deluxe 10-foot camping trailer. The box itself is 10 foot, and we've got another 30 inches or so of tongue here. And it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. The serial number is stamped 1969, but this wasn't titled until 1970. I do believe the two models are very similar, if not exactly the same. So it is titled as a 1970. The clearance lights are not factory. Everything about this is it's probably 80% original, which is really cool. The original windows are all there. They all work. I have to replace the bug screen on that one. I'll go inside and show you in a minute. Structurally, it's in very good shape. The only part of concern is right here around the door, which I'll show you why in just a minute. We'll do a quick walk around. I've seen so many different color schemes. This has been repainted at some point in time. That's obviously not original. This is aftermarket, poorly installed with a non-weatherproof switch, which has failed and loose, but I have a game plan for that. Windows work, tires are really good. Hubcap, got a baby moon on this side. The other side was missing, but I had a dog dish. I'll show you. It's a little different, but it's fine. This got a little ding-a-ring at some point in time. These are original taillights. That's kind of pushed back together. Really not any structural damage. Again, the clearance lights are just truck stop cheapies. These used to have teardrop 1, 2, 3 holes. They used to have these teardrop ones. 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for either some OEM or some something that's closely resembles. That's not original. Life on the Fly, not original. See, they took it as a 1969 trailer. Windows all work. They're all intact. I got all the lighting work. See, what happened is I dragged this home yesterday, and you know how I am. I can't leave it well enough alone, and I spent about 5 hours sorting out the electrical. Because, of course, it didn't work, which is why I get these things for so cheap. They spilled something caustic here. I'll touch that paint up. See, this is the other style, dog dish style. It's not perfectly clean, but I had it in my hoard, and it works. It's better than having nothing. Now, this thing was skinned underneath, is skinned underneath with aluminum, a sheet. It's got a couple gouges where it's run into things. I'm gonna seal that up with some good Sikaflex sealant. It's got a ding here. The wood is good, so I want to seal that up so nothing gets in there. It has a floor heater, which is factory, which is interesting, but you look at the ridge on how butchered that is. It's a Cardinal floor heater. To the best of my knowledge, that's a factory install, which is surprising to me. No trailer brakes, no serious rust, not flaky, just a little bit of surface. Nothing flaky at all. Tires are in really good shape. These tires are 2 years old according to the brand stamp, and they've got great tread. The sidewall looks good. These are actual trailer tires. This thing towed like a dream. I had to go 200 miles to get it, but for what I bought it for, it's a screaming deal. Water in, it's a non-pressurized water system. This is the vent for the sink. This hooks up to a garden hose. This is your water out. And it's there's no tanks on this, gray or black. There's no toilet, and I'll show you in a minute what's going on. It's got an old school propane tank on it that still has about half a tank of propane in it. This is the old style nubbin, which I have the one. You'll remove this, and I've got one inside. I'll show you. So when this tank finally goes empty, I'll use this as a footrest, and I'll get a modern tank and drop it in there, change this little nibbin, and then I can get modern tanks. The front part that I'm concerned about, I'll show you. Yeah, that's going to be my project for today. The leading edge here has come loose, which is fine. They use nails, and they nailed the front edge into the floor, which is in fine shape. I'm going to use screws, and I'll be able to pull this whole thing in. The problem is that the vibration of driving with this loose over the last several years or so has torn this aluminum belly, but I have some very good sticky house wrap neoprene. I think I'm gonna wrap this corner with, pull this impact strip, come around to seal it once I pull it all back in tight, and then that way I don't have to drill more holes, poke more holes in this with screws to screw all this back together, this to make it watertight. This corner's a little weird. It's a little soft from people using this step. It puts undue, look at that, it's just cantilevered out, or it's leveraged out from the frame, and then when you step in here, the wood's not bad. There's a little bit of rot in this corner. I'm not really that concerned about it. What my game plan is for this is to unbolt the camper from this corner, remove the step, jack up the camper a little bit, and put a piece of steel, probably angle iron, from this corner, tie it into that corner, and that'll bring this whole thing back up level, and then I'll have to remount the step if I decide to continue to use that, but don't tell anybody about the spare key. So let's go inside, let's take a quick look. Now, I've already pulled things apart in here. This is not the original floor. I pulled everything apart, and like I said, I've got a few hours into this, 4 or 5 hours into this thing. There's the original floor, a pebble-grained asphalt tile. Those are 9x9, so it likely has asbestos in it, so we're just going to leave that alone. Somebody at some point in time used that expanding foam, which I don't really care for. There's the furnace. There's a removable table. This piece here will slide out, and then you use all the pads, those pads there, to make yourself a bed. And I'm 6'2", and I fit. If I take one of the backs out on this side, I can fit laying across there. I think this is a 7-foot wide trailer, 7x10, 10 long, 7 wide. The electrical system was fouled up, as I mentioned. I think the previous person that did all this carpentry, because none of this is original. Okay, this bench seat used to go all the way out to this closet, as evidenced by here, all the way out to here. They pulled the refrigerator out of there and put it here. They probably didn't want to, icebox, I keep calling it a fridge. They probably just didn't want to bend down to get to their beers. This thing's got the ice tray with a drain. You can sit your stuff in here. It needs to be cleaned. But my intention is to pull it out and put it back in there once I get the front fixed. So in the course of last night, I figured out where the bad wires were. This is the old wiring harness. Pretty straightforward. That's in really good shape. Look at the porcelain on that. It has the pump, hand pump, and it also has, when you're hooked up to the garden hose, this is what you'll use when you're hooked up to the garden hose. There's no gray water tank, so like I said, it goes directly out. That water tank you saw on the back sets right here. They pulled it out because they never used it, but I'm gonna put that back because I want to be able to rinse things off in here. And then if I'm super fly, which I think I am, I'm gonna fit an RV toilet in here with the black tank sitting on top. I can't belly mount, undermount the black tank. There's just no room under there. But I think if I get a tank, dimensionally 6, 7, 8 gallon tank, and an RV, I'll build a platform, set the RV toilet on top of it. I'll be able to dump to the outside. And then when this is removed, I'm thinking I'm going to bring this wall out, or at least half of this wall out, so you have somewhere to mount your knees when you're sitting on the toilet. Right? Your knees are going to point that way. This is just a thought. I'm just brainstorming in my dumb head, because it'd be really nice to have a toilet in here. And I think I can do it. I think I can fit in that closet. The closet's like 20 inches or 22 inches deep, so you know, not for super wide people, super big people, but I'm not super wide or big, so that would work for me. And then Cleo can poop on the outside. Yeah, all the propane I got working. This is a propane lamp that's hooked onto the tank in front. I had to change the mantle because the mantle was half missing, which is standard I had in inventory. It's as simple as turning the gas on and putting a lighter under there, and you got really nice light. You control the air. Oh man, I had it controlled right. You control the airflow. I'll have to readjust that with this guy here. I'll shut that off, although the tank's off. 3-burner stove, works like a champ, and it looks delightful. This thing's kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a time capsule. It's really cool. That works well. You got a fake vent hood under here. It doesn't do anything, but it looks nice. No evidence of leakage. Well, I shouldn't say that. I take that back. Very little evidence of leakage. This front corner at one point in time, I don't know if the camera will pick up some darkness there, so it did get some water in on that seam. This is the wire that goes to that outside light, which was kind of hacked in, but I'm going to remove that exterior switch, which is weather damaged, And my thinking is I have, where is it? Pull switch, single pole pull switch. I'm going to mount here because all the wiring, low voltage and 110 volt wiring, all meet in this box here. So all the 12 volt stuff I'm going to run on a 20 amp thermal breaker. I'm going to add a couple power ports to charge things, stuff and things. This is how I checked for leaks in the propane system. The one thing I can't figure out, and if somebody's familiar with these Carlson trailer furnaces, and maybe I just didn't hold down the bypass long enough. I believe the pilot light's in here. It's hard to see. But I had this turned on, I had this pressed down for a good 2 minutes. I thought maybe that would purge all the air out of the system. It might not have been long enough, but I couldn't get that pilot to light. I don't know. If anybody's got tricks on that, I'd love to know. This laminate floor's got to go too. Just don't like the laminate floors. Got a table with a post. These are bunk beds. This is the original cushions, apparently, allegedly, for up here. It's got a little rip there. This is really thin material, so I'm pretty much feeling that those are original. But this thing slides out. Right? It used to be pinned in here. I'll have to look and see how this was originally held together. I haven't even moved this yet, but this slides forward, and then you have a bunk bed up here. Although I wouldn't want to be sleeping down there with some big body sleeping up there, I guess. I don't know. The lamps are all dual voltage, 110. This is 110 when plugged into shore power or a generator. This is a 12 volt system. So this won't be, oh, that's the shag carpet it used to be at one point in time. Green shag carpet. So between this pebble grain asbestos and green shag carpet. Yikes. Ay, ay, ay. So that's all that is. So this isn't a this isn't going to be a repair video. This is just kind of an introductory video, and I'm sorry I didn't get the adventure of going to drive the 200 miles to pick it up. It was well worth the drive, believe me. Yeah, I bought this for pretty much what I sold 2 of the kayaks for, and then I'll put a couple bucks into it to kind of get it sorted out. I may keep this for a year or so. Or I may keep it for longer. It depends. I don't know how it's going to camp. Most of the time, it's more than likely just going to be me and the dog. We're going to do some 2-day trips, maybe 3-day trips. Motorcycle videos. Weekends off now. Basically, what you have on your back or in your pockets, what you're wearing or what you have in your pockets is what you go with, which is exactly what this is for me. Keep it simple. Keep it away from the stuff that clouds your head Monday to Friday kind of thing. I don't need a flat screen TV in here. I don't need a microwave, and I don't even need a working fridge, truth be told. 3 days, 4 days max is what I'm thinking. But anyway, that's the plan, and I've had plans before, and I've had plans crash and burn before due to unforeseen circumstances, and which we just commonly refer to as life. And but you know, if you don't make plans, you never know when you get to where you want to be, right? So that's the plan. That's the plan. Use this for a little fun. The dog and I will go roam the earth. I will take the video with me, take you guys along. And I'm going to do a little bit of carpentry in here. As I mentioned, this whole fridge area here, everything above this level is, I don't know if I mentioned it because this is, honestly, it's my 3rd take because I keep getting interrupted. And I want to shoot this one and done. This is all, everything above that level has all been added. That bench went all the way up to that corner, but I want to put the fridge back in the hole. Once I get the wiring hooked up and this corner sorted out. I don't know, it should be a funsy. It should be a fun little project. It's pretty clean. It was painted by the previous owner, of course. I haven't had a chance to paint it yet. Am I going to repaint it? Probably not. Probably not. But we're going to make it livable. I'll take you guys along for the adventure. All right? That's it. Otherwise I'll ramble on. This is not a live stream. I can't talk for 2 hours. All right, got to go, got to run. See ya.